I think for me, this was the thing that dominated 2024 because I was so involved in it was the commission structure or the NAR lawsuit settlement and how commissions are paid or not paid and how realtors get their fee paid. And it changed drastically in 2024.
It did. And to simplify it, because that's what I like to do.
It changed drastically on the back end. For consumers, it didn't have that much of an impact.
Well, it does, because for a consumer, for us to help them show them homes, we have to have a written agreement that we're going to work together and how we as realtors get paid. And in the past, it was offered through our multiple listing service. We knew this is what the seller was offering for us to bring a buyer to their property. That has been removed. It's no longer allowed. That it's just published out there what the seller will offer to us. What we know is most sellers are still offering, because that's an incentive for people to buy their house, right? And most buyers don't have that extra cash to pay the realtor fee.
Right.
So the big change was the amount being offered by a seller to the buyer or by the seller's broker to a buyer broker is no longer public to the realtor community, right? It's not in the MLS.
Yeah, it used to be a policy requirement that when you list a home for sale, you would have to offer some sort of compensation to the buyer broker or the co-broker, as we call it. At one time, it could be as little as $1, and then it changed to zero. But it was still a MLS policy that had to be there. Well, that got removed, and so now any compensation that the buyer's broker is getting paid has to be negotiated usually along with the deal or with the buyer or with the seller or with the other broker or whatever. So it's just an extra negotiation in the process.
So from the buyer's perspective, we as realtors need to have an agreement with them that says, this is how much I charge to do what I do. And if the seller will offset that or pay all of it, we will collect it that way. But the buyer has to understand that now we're getting a written agreement saying I'm going to be paid this much, and the buyer may have to pay a portion of it.
Yeah.
And we're agreeing to work together with a contract.
I think the simplest explanation is a decoupling from what the seller and the listing broker, what they agree to, for fees, and what the buyer and the buyer broker agree for fees. But you can also negotiate that buyer broker fee with the seller and see if the seller's willing to help with that as well.